Hey racers, John Racer 3 today, back for another Hot Wheels tournament. And today it's a yearly tradition. It is the 2024 Hot Wheels Festival of Speed. Today we have 31 cars picked out, about to take on the Hot Wheels distance track on the John Racer 3 Super Speedway. And all of these cars are looking to get a really good time and good distance on this track. Here's how it's going to work. Every single car is going to have one chance to go down this distance track, around the arc, through the speed trap, and to see how far they can go. If they can make it around turn 2 or even turn 3, sector 2, the fat track. It's going to be a really close battle between all 30 of these cars. We got old cars, new cars, supercars, American cars, Japanese cars, and whatever you would call that. So I'm going to stop talking about the rules and get straight to the commentary. This is the 2024 Hot Wheels Festival of Speed.
Kicking off the 2024 Hot Wheels Festival of Speed, we got that K-Truck, an absolutely great casting, fast around the arc there and through the speed trap. Let's see how far it can carry its speed, and looks like it's going to get to the backstretch. Not quite entering sector 2 of the track, but still pretty good. 1,174 scale speed for the K-Truck. I'm just kidding. The speed doesn't really track very well for cars that have a gap between the front and rear wheels. As you'll see here for our next car, we got the Matchbox Field car. Fast around the arc, but it didn't look like it was as fast as the K-Truck was. And there he goes, wrecking off of turn 2, not able to carry speed. 1,159 miles an hour, but that is just because the scale speed checker is not able to check the cars with the bigger gap between the front and rear wheels. I know, it's kind of weird, but hey, he went 1,000 miles an hour, so I guess that's not that bad. Next up, we got a 57 Jeep FC. This is a new Hot Wheels casting that I figured would just look pretty cool going around the track, and it's got some speed too, ending off on sector 2 right before turn 3, around 43 feet of distance covered on this track. Again, speed not really tracking for the Jeep, but it is one of the fastest cars we've seen out of the 3 so far today, and I think that's a pretty good time to beat on sector 2. Next up, we got a Nissan Skyline R30. This R30 has been a part of the Hot Wheels Festival Speed for the last few years now. A beautiful old-looking JDM casting. Fortunately, it doesn't have the speed it takes to carry to a podium position. It's going to be 164 scale speed for the Nissan, and he's going to be parking himself right next to that Matchbox Field car. So not the fastest car, but one of the better-looking JDM cars for sure in this lineup. And speaking of JDM cars, we got a Mazda RX-7 up next. This is a brand new model. Not a new model, but a new release with a police livery. It looks pretty good. Let's see how far it can go on the track. Carrying its speed well, just barely makes it onto sector 2, onto the fat track, around 40 feet of distance, which is pretty good. 186 scale speed from the RX-7 is not bad either, getting close to the 190 range, which is where some of the best performing cars get to, especially making it around turn 3. Next up, speaking of fast cars, we got another JDM car. We got the Mazda Miata. This thing is quick, it's short, it's light, and it's able to get around the track and carry its speed super well. As you can see, getting around turn 3, ending off around the middle of turn 3 is really good performance for the Mazda. It's going to be the fastest car we've seen. 216 scale miles per hour is a very fast time, and that is one of the fastest cars we've seen on the track in general, not for just this event, which is pretty crazy. So that'll be a time to beat. Next up, we got a Mustang Boss 302. This is a Matchbox moving parts model taking on the track. Let's see how well it can do. Recently took on the track for its distance run in the distance championship, and not bad. Sector 2, just around 41 feet of distance covered and 188 scale miles per hour for this Mustang Boss. A really clean looking Matchbox car. In looks, it just looks great. In speed wise, it's got it, but it's not going to be the fastest car we see. Next up, we got a Proton Saga. This is from Hot Wheels. This is a new casting actually that just recently came out. It's a pretty old looking casting, and it looks pretty cool. Let's see how far it can go around the track, finishing off at sector 2, just under 40 feet of distance covered and 191 scale speed. This is around the same scale speed as the cars around it, but it's not able to carry its speed enough on the straights, unfortunately. Next up on the track, we got a Ford GT40. Now, the GT40 Hot Wheels casting can be really fast. Let's see what this one's able to do. Around turn 2, super fast, gets a little airborne, and he's going to make it around turn 3, ending off on the second sector after turn 3 of the fat track. 213 scale speed. Now, that is slower than the Miata, but it was able to carry its speed a lot better on the straights, and that Ford GT is looking good up in first place, and he's got a massive gap back to P2 with the Miata. Insane run. Next up on the track, we got an Audi 90 Quattro. This thing is really wide and really low to the ground, so let's see what it's able to do to carry its speed. Definitely to lose a lot of speed in the corners because of that low splitter, and he's going to end off right after turn 2. Not the best run from the Audi, but 180 scale speed. That's still pretty quick coming around the arc, and nothing to be ashamed of for this Audi at all. It is just that low splitter is not able to compete with some of the faster cars we take on this track, which unfortunately is just the sad truth for some of these cars. Next up, we got another JDM car. We got a bunch of JDM in this lineup here. We got the Honda Civic. This was also recently released by Hot Wheels with this livery, and the Honda Civic, not that bad. Ends off on Sector 2 around 41 feet of distance, and that is a pretty good run for a Civic. 198 scale speed, almost breaking that 200-mile-an-hour barrier, but not quite making it, and ending off right behind the Mustang Boss 302. Not bad at all. Next up, we got another Audi Quattro. This one a little bit older than the one that ran previously when it comes to car models, but when it comes to Hot Wheels, that means nothing because this thing has a ton of speed, hitting 42 feet on the distance on Sector 2 right before turn 3, surpassing the 200-mile-an-hour mark at 203 scale speed, and that's a really good run from the Audi. Gonna pick up P3 at the moment, just barely beating that Jeep. Next up, we got an Audi from the modern age, an Audi RS e-tron GT. Now, this model's come out in a few colors. It came out in gray, and now it came out in white from Hot Wheels. I love the white wheels on this thing. It looks so good running down the track, and it's going to be an insane run from the Audi as well, just barely beating the older generation of Audi there around 42 feet. And it's going to be 205 scale speed, so just barely faster than the other Audi, even though ending at around the same spot. It's going to be the Audi e-tron barely dethroning that other Audi for the podium position. That's a pretty good run there. Next up, we got an American car coming to disrupt the scene. We got the Dodge Viper. This is from the new Stars and Stripes series that came out recently, and I picked up a few of. And I figured this Viper looked fast enough to take on the track, and it is pretty quick, getting onto Sector 2 around the speed of the Proton Saga, which is not a bad run. 186 scale speed is around the speed that we would assume for cars to finish on this part of the track, and hey, that's pretty good for the Dodge Viper. Not as fast as that RX-7, but still pretty fast. Next up, we have our second Matchbox moving parts model so far in this video. We got the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, a brand new Matchbox casting, sorry, that came out recently, and it looks absolutely beautiful. If you can see there, the doors open just a little bit, but they're not open now because of course that would reduce the speed. Around 39 feet on the track, 182 scale speed, not bad for the Alfa whatsoever. One of the only cars in its current class, I would say, that is competing today at the Festival of Speed, and not a bad run at all. Now, this marks around the halfway point of the 2024 Festival Speed, and now we're going to get into some of the faster supercars. We've got some crazy track cars to some just miscellaneous cars, and to start it off, let's just go with the Ford F-150. This is a brand new Ford F-150 that came out from Hot Wheels, and Hot Wheels is notorious for making these F-150s super fast and dominant on the track. As you can see, getting on 2 wheels after turn 2, this thing is still carrying the speed, and he's going to make it to turn 3 in front of the Audi e-tron, which was currently holding the 3rd place position with 203 scale speed. So even slower than some of the cars that he's around finishing on the track, but it's not going to matter because he's able to just squeeze that distance out at the very last moment, getting on to turn 3. Next up, we got a Jaguar F-Type in red. This is from a brand new 5-pack, and 5-pack cars are typically pretty quick. So let's see what this thing's able to bring out speed-wise through the speed trap. Around turn 2, it doesn't look like it's carrying as much speed as you'd want around turn 2, and not even making it to Sector 2 of the track. 176 scale speed from the F-Type. But to be fair, it's pretty low to the ground, low splitter. The car doesn't get around the turns as well as some of the other ones, but it's a very good-looking car. The red and silver combo just looks insane. Speaking of red on cars, we got a wide-body Toyota Supra. This wouldn't be a Festival of Speed video without some wide-body cars, and this Supra just looks great. I have not run the red Supra in a while, and it does very well distance-wise on the track. It's going to get stuck on the side of the track there just barely, and is going to end off right behind that red Honda Civic. A 191 scale speed, and he's making it onto the 2nd straight. That is pretty good speed for a car ending off around this spot. So that Toyota Supra, while it might might not corner very well, it will go very fast on the straights. And speaking of cars that don't corner well, we got another wide body car here, the Lamborghini Huracan wide body. This is a Liberty Walk wide body kit, and it is just an absolutely insane looking casting. It's very low to the ground, but despite that, it is able to carry its speed in the straights enough, ending just behind the K-Truck speed-wise, 172 scale speed coming around the arc. And I'd say if the cars can carry their speed around 170 from the arc, then they've got a pretty good chance to compete with some of the cars on the straight, if you can just park. Next up on the track, we got an Acura NSX in white. This is from the same 5-pack as the Jaguar, and this thing looks quick, fast around the arc. Slow-mo cuts in around turn 2, and he's gonna switch lanes and derail. We have not seen that so far in the Festival of Speed, running right into that McLaren. That's gonna cause some damage. So we're gonna give the Acura NSX another rerun because this thing looks fast. There it goes around the arc, down the downhill, into the speed trap, around turn 2. Let's see what it can carry speed-wise into sector 2 of the track, but not as fast as I was expecting, ending behind the Proton Saga of all cars. A 186 scale speed, not the fastest car we've seen end off on sector 2 of the track, but it's really good looking. The white and gold combo looks insane. Next up is the McLaren Solus GT. This is a new Hot Wheels casting this year. Let's see what it can do on the track after being in a head-on collision with the Acura NSX from last run. Let's see what speed the Solus is able to bring out, and it's not going to be enough. Too low to the ground, too flat, not able to carry the speed around turn 2. 170 on the scale speed checker, but it's not going to be enough for the Solus to even reach the other competition, as he's going to end off on the corner and park it right next to the other cars that were not able to make it on the straight. Next up, we got another beautiful car. We got a Ferrari Daytona SP3. Now, this is actually a Tomica car. First Tomica car we've seen take on the Festival of Speed so far, and this is an absolutely beautiful looking car. Not able to carry its speed very well around turn 2. He's going to be very low to the ground, not cornering at all, but it's going to be 164 scale speed, so slower than the McLaren, but able to get around the corner better. I guess that just means he's got a little bit more clearance from the ground, so he was able to go around that corner faster. Now, another car with a flat bumper, we got a McLaren Senna. This is one of our first hypercars taken on the track. All black, same 5-pack from the Jaguar and the NSX, and let's see what speed it can bring out. Very quick, around turn 3, just barely going to end right behind that Miata, taking third place away from the Ford F-150 at a 193 scale speed, not even over 200 miles an hour of scale speed. That just goes to show how much speed the Senna can carry on the straights, and it just loses all of its speed on the turns. A very menacing car for downhill racing. Next up, we got another Tomica car. It's a Ferrari F8. Tomica, with these Ferrari licenses, have not been missing. Unfortunately, Hot Wheels doesn't have the ability to make Ferraris, but Tomica does, and these ones look absolutely incredible, and as you can see, perform decently well. This Ferrari ending off around the same speed as the Mustang moving parts from Matchbox. 193 scale speed from the Ferrari. A great showing for a Tomica car here, ending off just over 41 feet of distance covered on the track. Now we've got one of my favorite cars in this lineup. We've got the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ Roadster from Matchbox, but it's not going to be fast enough as he falls off of the arc onto the scale, and it's going to be the slowest car we've seen so far today. Again, it's very low to the ground, so it makes a little bit of sense as to why he wasn't able to make it around the arc, but it's just very unfortunate. A great looking car, not able to make it. Now we've got another Lamborghini coming up. This is the Tomica Lamborghini Countach, and it is an absolutely beautiful looking car. I love this car. It looks great, and as a Tomica diecast, it is actually pretty quick. Around the same speed as the Toyota and the Honda in front of it, just over 40 feet of distance covered. Pretty good speeds from the Countach, and almost clocking in at 200 miles an hour. 198 scale speed from the Lamborghini Countach. That is not a run to be disappointed with at all. All right, next up on the track, we got another hypercar, a track-ready car, Pagani Zonda R. I love this casting from Hot Wheels, but it does not have the speed to take. It takes to get around the arc, ending off on the pillow, so I guess a little bit farther than the Matchbox Lamborghini Aventador from recently, but it's going to be another drive back to the pits for the Pagani Zonda R. Unfortunately, doesn't have the speed it takes to get around the arc, which is unfortunate for this distance track. Next up, we got the Aston Martin Vantage GT3, one of the first GT3 cars taken on the track. Now, all of these cars, basically all of these cars, have super low splitters, but have a lot of down straight line speed as the Aston Martin Vantage gets around turn 2 and ends off right in front of those Lego Grandstands. 172 scale speed, not a very fast car to take on the track, but a good looking one nonetheless, with the yellow and orange scheme. It looks very good. And right behind it, we got another GT3 car. We got the Corvette C8R in blue. This is a very good looking color for this car. It matches very well with the orange track, I would say. As it goes around turn 2, it doesn't have the speed it takes to even compete with the Aston Martin ahead of it. A good looking car, but not very fast. 162 scale speed, one of the slowest cars we've seen, but hey, at least it made it around the arc, and it's a pretty good looking car too, so I guess you can give it that. As we're rounding out the rest of our cars, we got a brand new Hot Wheels model. We got a Zinger 21C. I've never heard of this casting until it came out from Hot Wheels, and I decided to give it a run on the distance track, but let's see how far it can go for this Festival of Speed. A great looking car, very low to the ground, not able to corner very well. Ends off right around the Aston Martin with a 162 scale speed, the same speed as the Corvette, but just a little faster down the straights for the Zinger, and it's a pretty good looking car as well. And finally, we've got the Mazda AutoZam. This is the last car taken on the track, and it is a Hot Wheels Legends Tour winner, and it's just a crazy looking car. It's not able to make it around the arc as it gets derailed and falls. Unfortunate run for the Mazda, but it's one of the coolest looking cars that have taken on this track so far, and it's going to be the last car to take on the track for the 2024 Hot Wheels Festival of Speed. And just like that, the results are in. We have our slowest cars not even making it around the arc or turn 2 parked over here. We got some beautiful ones like the Solus and the Corvette. We've got some of the other slower cars that didn't make it around the arc, like that Lamborghini, unfortunately. And then let's go ahead and see where the rest of the cars stacked up. So we got some of the slower cars here, the F-Type, the Lamborghini, the K-Truck, all low to the ground, not able to make it to Sector 2. But when it comes to the Sector 2 racers, we've got some beautiful looking cars where they ended up here. You guys can see the Countach there, finished behind the Civic. We got the Ferrari finishing behind the Jeep, and we've got the Ford F-150 finishing in 4th, just in front of turn 3. In 3rd, we got that McLaren Senna, an absolutely beautiful looking car in all black, right behind the 2nd place car with the Mazda Miata. We all knew this thing was going to be fast, but we didn't know it was going to be slower than this car here, the Ford GT40, the winner of the 2024 Hot Wheels Festival of Speed. It is a beautiful looking car, and it's going to be your victor today.
Thank you guys so much for watching the 2024 Hot Wheels Festival of Speed. These are some really good looking cars, and it's going to be the Ford GT coming out on top. It's going to be a lot more videos coming from this setup, and I cannot wait for you guys to see them. So like the video, comment down below your favorite part, and I hope you enjoyed. And that's that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.